So you're going to start off lying on your back with the soles of your feet together and your knees apart. Take the first few moments here just to relax. With your hand on your belly, feel your abdomen rise and fall in response to your breath. Then bring your knees together and plant your feet on the floor. So I've lifted my shirt up a little bit so you can see what my low back is doing and what my pelvis is doing. So as you inhale, I want you to tilt your pelvis so that your low back starts to arch away from the floor. And as you exhale, flatten it. Tuck your butt under. Inhale, arch. Tilt your pelvis. Stick your butt out. Exhale, tuck your butt under. Move the buttocks towards the backs of the knees so that the low back curve starts to diminish. Inhale, tilt your pelvis the other way into an anterior tilt. Exhale, tuck to a posterior tilt. Move steady with your breath. Inhale, arch your back, tilt your pelvis. Exhale, tuck your butt, buttocks towards the backs of the knees. Now inhale into a neutral curve. It's right in between tilted and tucked. Pause there, and you want to try to hold this. Now take a block and put it right in between your feet. I want you to squeeze that block right in between your feet, and when you squeeze the block, imagine that you could draw energy up your inner legs, up through the pelvic floor, up into your belly, and all the way up to the crown of your head. Keep that pulled up feeling, squeeze in, and without letting your hip bones twist, just lift your right leg up an inch. I want you at the same time to pretend like I put quarters on your hip bones and they don't get to move around at all. Set the right foot back down and lift the left foot up just an inch. Set it back down. So stay really steady, keep the pulled up, squeezed in feeling. So move the block, and now lift your right leg all the way up into tabletop position without your low back moving. So keep the spine in its neutral curve. Don't let the hips tilt. Lower the right leg back down. And now lift the left leg up. Slow and controlled. Keep your shoulder tips down. Keep your ribs down on the mat. Lower the left leg back down. Moving side to side, lift the right leg up into tabletop position. I have my hands on my hip bones, making sure that my hip bones don't move. Set it back down and lift the left leg up. So just like you're marching with your legs, but you're trying to stay real steady in your core. So you're engaging the core muscles by squeezing in, pull the right leg back up. Now bring the left leg up so your legs are in tabletop position. Keep the hip bones steady, don't let them move at all. Keep your neck long, extend your right leg out at a high diagonal, and slowly lower your right leg as low as you can before you feel your hip bones start to twist. Then rebend your right leg, bring it back up. Slowly extend your left leg and lower it down until you feel where your hip bones start to twist. Pause there, bring the leg back up. Send the right leg forward and maybe lower it till it's just an inch above the mat, but don't let your belly lift up. Keep your low spine in the position. Don't let it lift. Don't flatten it out. Bring your right leg back up. Send the left leg forward and slowly lower the left leg with control. Bring the left leg back up. Send the right leg forward again. Slowly lower the right leg with control. Bring the leg back up. Make sure that the hip bones don't move. Take the left leg forward. Lower the left leg till it's just about an inch above the mat. Keep your shoulder tips down, neck long. Bring the left leg back. Now hold both legs in tabletop position and reach your arms straight up to the ceiling. As you reach up with your fingertips, drop the arm bones down towards the floor. Keeping your front bottom ribs pulled in towards your front pockets, start to take your arms overhead. Go slow. Watch what happens when your arms go. Your front ribs are going to try to lift up with your hands. So instead, pretend like you're trying to pull your front ribs into your front pockets. Keep your sacrum, butt down on the ground. Keep your belly in. Don't let your belly lift. Squeeze in like when you're squeezing the block in between your feet. But as you squeeze in, make the squeeze come from your middle. So you are trying to like squeeze your legs together, but it's from your middle. So keep stretching your arms now. Reach past your fingers, but keep your ribs in. Keep your core steady. Take your arms back up. Now send your right leg forward and your left arm back overhead. Lengthen through your spine. Keep your core engaged. Bring it back up. Opposite arm leg stretch. Send the left leg forward and the right leg back. Right arm back, that is. Now bring the left knee back, knees together, right arm back up. Send the right leg forward, stretch your left arm back behind you. Bring your hand and your knee back up. Send your left leg forward, reach your right arm back, real steady in your middle. So from your pelvic floor to your diaphragm, that makes up your core. So I want you to keep that area real steady when you're doing this. Engage the muscles, cinch in around your low spine, create the squeezed in, pulled up through the pelvic floor feeling. Keep the length, don't let your hip bones twist side to side. Just like we practiced with the legs, the arms are just making it a little more tricky. So each step of the way, it's become more difficult. Keep going side to side. Watch to see if your belly's lifting. Watch to see if your hips are twisting. Eliminate that movement. And it's really important, if you need to back off, like if you can't do it, you're like, I hear what you're saying, but there's no way I can do that, then you need to just go back to the easier version. So we started basic, and we've kind of like worked our way up through it. So keep going side to side. We'll do a few more rounds, practicing core stability. Good, few more rounds. Left leg, right arm. Bring it back up. Right leg, left arm. Okay, now take the arm straight up. Now take both legs straight out. This is the most challenging one. Rebend the knees. Now take just the arms overhead. Keep your ribs in. Don't let your ribs lift up. Keep the back ribs on the mat. Now stretch the legs out. Hold the legs at a high diagonal. Then bring the knees and the arms back up. So double arm, double leg stretch. Stretch the arms back, stretch the legs, but keep your core engaged. Don't let your middle move. Bring it back in. Stretch the arms, stretch the legs as you inhale. Exhale, squeeze back in. Good. Now hug your knees into your chest. So if you did that really well, you should feel like the muscles and your core really worked well. So now just circle your knees. Make circles to the right. Make circles to the left. Plant your feet on the floor. And now drop your legs. Take your feet the width of your mat and let your knees drop to the right. So if you can feel like your hip flexors worked a lot during that, the muscles at the tops of your thighs, like if they worked a lot, that's kind of a bad sign. It means that you weren't like really working your core very well. Now bring your knees back to center and drop them to the other side. So next time you try this video, try this exercise, try to turn those muscles off the whole time. And if you're wondering, I just can't do that, practice squeezing the block in between your feet and that squeeze in your middle. That'll help. If you can do that the whole time you're doing the exercise, it'll help so that the hip flexors don't work so much. Bring your legs back to center. Now roll over to your side. All right, so from here, come to lie on your belly. And we're going to do cobra pose on the forearm. So modified cobra, sometimes called sphinx pose. Come onto your elbows and stretch your toes back behind you. So as you do this pose, I'm going to give you a few cues. So reach back through your big toes. Press the tops of the feet down. Lift the inner kneecaps and spin the inner thighs up towards the ceiling. Turn the upper inner thighs towards the ceiling. Turn the groins towards the ceiling, which sounds weird. And then lift your belly and lift up out of your lower back. Firm your buttock in as you draw your navel in. Okay, now lower your chest down to the mat. Put your forehead on your hands. And we're just going to do one, like lift your right leg and squeeze the back of your leg and lower it down. Keep your belly and lift your left leg, squeeze the back of the leg. And we're just going to go side to side. Right leg goes up. Lower it down. Left leg goes up. Keep your belly in. Don't let it drop. Keep the leg straight. Right leg lifts. Pull your belly in. Lower it down. Squeeze the back of your left leg to lift the leg and lower it back down. Right side. And just like with the work we were doing, keep going side to side. Just like the work you were doing on your back, try not to let your middle wiggle around. Don't let your hip bones wiggle side to side. Keep your belly pulled up off the mat. Now stretch your arms forward, opposite arm leg stretch on your belly. So right leg, left arm, left leg, right arm. Right leg goes up, left arm goes up. Try not to twist side to side. Lower down, left leg, right arm, stretch long. Lengthen from your tailbone to the crown of your head. Right leg, left arm, left leg, right arm. Right leg, ooh, that's enough. Okay, now lift both legs up, both arms up. Reach back through your big toes. Spin your inner thighs up, squeeze your legs. Pull your belly up as you firm your middle buttock in and reach past your fingers. Keep going, keep stretching. Good, now lower yourself down and rest one cheek on the mat. One more exercise here. Bring your shoulder blades on your back and lift your legs up an inch up off the mat. Now lift your chest up and stretch your arms straight back behind you. So if you notice, I have a broken arm in this, so my arm doesn't really go straight, but straighten your arms. And now put your thumbs right at the crease of your butt, right where your thigh bone meets your butt, and turn that, broaden that out to the sides. And as you broaden that, start to firm your buttock in, draw your navel in and up, and pull your heart forward. Now stretch your toes strong and lower back down. All right. Now from here, you're going to need a strap or a towel or a band, something that you can take across your foot when you lie on your back. So we're going to do some stretches now. And these muscles, these muscles, the hamstrings, the leg muscles, very important to keep these muscles flexible because they can start to pull on your back. So sometimes back pain can come from these if these muscles are too tight. So we're going to do some stretches to safely stretch these muscles. So lie on your back, and you want to stretch your legs out so that your heels are right up against the wall. So left heel up against the wall, and then take the strap across your right foot. So as you're in this position, you're on your back, your left heel's up against the wall. Push through your left heel, roll your left inner thigh down towards the floor so that the knee points up. And when you take your right leg all the way up, I want you to still have your neutral curve. So you don't want your low back flattened into the mat. You want your sacrum to flip into the floor, your tailbone down, just like you were finding your neutral curve earlier by doing the tucking and the tilting, somewhere right in between there. Your shoulders drop down. Try to stretch the right leg as straight as you can. Now put your right hand right in the crease of your hip and move the root of the thigh away from you. Take the strap in your left hand and start to move the foot towards your left shoulder. You might start to feel a stretch on the outer thigh, the IT band. Keep releasing the root of the right thigh towards your left foot as you bring that foot closer towards your left shoulder. Push through the left heel, through the wall, descend the left thigh, and keep the idea of lengthening your spine. That lengthening action helps to fire the multifidi, the erector spinae, so we want those muscles. I should have mentioned that when we were doing the core stuff earlier. That lengthening action is important. Now put a block or something or a rolled up towel right up close to your right hip, and then slowly start to take your right leg over to the right, but try not to let the hips twist from side to side. Try to keep the ribs even. Good. So as you stretch here, it's a whole body pose, so you don't just want to let your leg fall over to the side. You keep the integrity of the rest of the body. The left heel is anchored, the left thigh bone releases, and you're thinking of lengthening the whole time, the way that we practice drawing up through the pelvic floor, lengthening, shoulder tips down, breath steady. Breathe in and out through your nose. Your muscles need that oxygen. Now bring your leg back up. And start to bring the foot closer towards your face without letting your knee bend. Now rebend your leg and release it. Bring the block or the towel over to the other side that you propped your hip with. And now take the strap or towel, whatever you're using, across your foot. Take it across your left foot, right heel up against the wall. Slowly start to take your left leg up in the air. Keep the right heel rooted into the wall and roll the right inner thigh down towards the floor. Good. So stretch the left leg as straight as it'll go. But as you straighten the leg, try not to let your butt tuck under and your low back flatten. Keep your sacrum buttock like flipped into the mat, so you have that neutral low back curve, neutral pelvis. Shoulder tips down, neck long. Breathe into the back of your leg, which really is impossible, I realize, but that idea of sending like energy to help it release, that should help. So visualize your breath moving towards the back of the leg, the hamstrings starting to release. Now take the strap in your right hand and put your left hand into the crease of your hip. I did it the other way on this side. So the video won't match up with it, but you can do that first stretch where you put your hand in the crease of your hip and then start to move the foot towards your right shoulder. Descend the thigh bone, so move the thigh bone towards your right heel and aim your left foot towards your right shoulder. So just to be clear, I'm showing something different in the video, but you'll see that position in just a second. Bring the leg back up. Now take the strap in the left hand and slowly start to take the leg over to the left. Take the block or whatever you have right up against your hip. 5 breaths there. Okay, now bring that leg back up. And release the strap. Bring the soles of your feet together. Grab a hold of your elbows and take your arms overhead. So don't just let your ribs lift up. Like we practiced earlier, keep your ribs pulled in as you hold your elbows and take your elbows overhead. Then bring your elbows back up and change the clasp. Grab the other elbow and stretch the arms. Push into your heels. Push your heels into each other. Press your knees open. Stretch through your side body. Now stretch your legs out. And take Shavasana, corpse pose. So with your hands at your side, adjust the shoulder blades and adjust the buttocks. So you want to move your shoulder blades down your back, away from your ears. And at the same time, you want to adjust the buttocks out of your lower back so that it feels like your pelvis goes back into neutral, the same neutral pelvis that we started with. It's somewhere right in between, as tucked under and as tilted as you can make your buttock, your pelvis. So find that and just let yourself relax here. It's important now that you give your muscles this rest. It's going to kind of like reset things. So all that movement that we did, that like all that arching, that tucking, the tilting, it's good because it brings nutrients into the discs in the lower back. And that's how, the way that they get nutrients is blood moving through them. They bathe in blood. So the only way to get those things healthy is to bring movement there. So all that movement that you did, all the strengthening you did to strengthen the muscles that support your spine, that's going to be good for your back. So just relax now. And now just watch your breath. Let your breath move in and out.